Hello, welcome to my channel. And in this video, we are going to learn how to create a Symfony 5 application. So this video is solely dedicated to people who wants to learn Symfony, and especially to those who doesn't know about the Symfony and who wants to get an introduction course. So this video is for absolute beginners. So if you have idea about Symfony, you can simply ignore this video. So guys, let's get started, and there are a few prerequisites before starting this video, and that is you must know a little bit of PHP. So if you have a PHP, then you obviously know that you must install this application, XAMPP Control Panel. Okay, so as you can see, I've already installed, and you can see that my Apache and MySQL is running. You just need to click start and it will start your Apache and MySQL server. All right, so the other thing that you need to do Symfony is that you must download the Symfony from its documentation. So let me show you. Download Symfony, and yeah, so you can download from here, download setup.exe, and it will install the Symfony. Okay, so the other thing that you need to install are download git, and let me first open all the page. Download composer. Okay, yeah, so you can download git from here, and your composer from from here. Download and run composer setup.exe. So few things you have to remember here is that first you need to install the XAMPP, and second, I think you should install git, because I'm a little bit confused, because while installing your Symfony or Composer, I don't know that your git must be pre-installed. So to get away from the confusion, I request you, after the installation of XAMPP, I request you to install git, then proceed with your Composer and Symfony. Okay, so whatever we do, for example, let's say creating a project, or creating project, and downloading, especially downloading bundles, and okay, so whatever we do, for example, let's say creating a project, or creating project, and downloading, especially downloading bundles and packages, we need to use Composer. Okay, so this is basically used not only by Symfony but also by the other PHP framework. Okay, so let's proceed with our application. So if you have already done with your PHP, if you have worked with PHP, so you know that we used to create our project inside a XAMPP htdocs. Okay, so let me show you here in the C drive, XAMPP and htdocs. We used to create here the PHP project. Okay, we need to create here. So before starting this video, I again want to remind you that if you don't know about PHP, then I request you to first a little bit of PHP, then proceed to the Symfony. Okay, so now let's proceed with our project creation. So for that, we need to use this command Symfony new and the project name. Okay, so in our case, let's keep CRUD, C-R-U-D, CRUD, and this will install the Symfony 5 project. Okay, and one thing you need to remember is that you must have an active internet connection. Okay, so especially while you are creating project and downloading the packages, we need to have an active internet connection. If we don't have the active internet connection, Okay, while especially downloading and creating. If you belong from the place where the internet is quite expensive and you don't want to waste your internet on unnecessary thing, so you can you can uh, you can then stop internet connection when it is not downloading or installing any packages. Okay, so while installing and while installing, you must have internet active internet connection, else you don't need. So as you can see here, our project is created, and if you are installing this application for the first time, so you will be asked basically your username and password. So there you will see a git command to do that, and you can do according to it. Okay, so let's get into our project folder. Oh, let's get into our project folder. Oh, sorry, it's CRUD. Create, update, delete. I'm going to open this in our VS Code space dot, and it will open in our VS Code. Here you can see our project is created, but okay, so let's first test Symfony space server start whether it is running or not. And here you can see our web service listening, or it's running. We need to use this URL to test our project. Paste here in the URL bar, and our project is running successfully. Welcome to Symfony 5.2.9. But this is not enough. Welcome to Symfony 5.2.9. But this is not enough. So we need to first install the required packages. Okay, so let's first thing we need to install is the ORM, so which will all the which will handle all the database operations. Composer req require ORM. Okay, so this will install all the ORM packages. Here you can see our ORM package is being installed. And let me tell you guys, so if you get confused about where to download all your there, here you can see the .env file is created, and here we are going to configure our database. As you can see, our database ORM pack has been installed successfully. Okay, so first we are going to install all the required packages, then we are going to move towards our development. Okay, so composer require ORM and composer require maker. Okay, so this will install the maker bundle or the maker package. So with the help of maker package, we can create the entities, we can create the forms, and we can create the many things which can be made through the maker bundle. Okay, so our maker is many things which can be made through the maker bundle. Okay, so our maker is also installed, and now we are going to install composer require tweak engine. Tweak. So tweak is basically a views. Okay, so like HTML, Symfony uses the tweak with the extra extension after the HTML, example index.html.tweak, and this is basically to render our everything. Okay, form data, whatever we load from the database, or just the plain HTML form, etc. Okay, so I think we are done with our basic components. Let me check over here, and you can see how the template base.html.twig is created. For that, we need to go inside the local host phpMyAdmin. Okay, so if you don't know how to go there, you can simply click here on the admin page and it will redirect you to the browser where you will land on this page. Let us create our database. Let's skip CRUD CRUD and create. So as you can see, our CRUD database is created, and now we don't have to do anything over here. We will do everything from the CMD. So our database is created, and now we need to configure our database here in .env. So so unless and until if you don't install your ORM package, you don't see .env. You don't see .env. Okay, so we're not going to use PostgreSQL. We are using MySQL. So I'm going to comment this and uncomment this part. So if you're using SQLite, then you can uncomment this first one. And if you're using PostgreSQL, you can uncomment this part. So the name of our database name. So if you read all this stuff, this line thoroughly, then you will know where to put the things into the right location. So instead of DB name, we need to provide our database name, which is CRUD. And since we are not using database username and password, so we are using root, and instead of DB password, just /console make control CONTR controller and choose a name for your controller. Let's give main controller. You can give anything you want. So our controller is created. Here you can see main controller. All right, so if we run our server, Symfony server start, and if you take this route /main and paste it over here, yeah, you can see here hello main controller. So our controller is created. Okay, so we are done with our making of controller. Now we are going to create entity and forms. Okay, so again, let's go to our CMD. I'm going to close this server for a while. So for that, press Ctrl+C and the server is stopped. PHP bin /console make entity. So this will generate the class. So for that, we need to give a class name. Let's give CRUD, the name of the class CRUD, and this will ask the property, the fields. Okay, so this will be mapped into here in database. Okay, so all the the column. Okay, now let's give our first property name and the okay, so all the the column. Okay, now let's give our first property name, and the first property will be, let's give a title, 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 and by default it is of string type and length to 55, and whether want this field to be null or not. So by default it's no. Okay, now we need to add the another property, and let's give the other property content, content, and by let's use all the default properties. Okay, so for now let's use only title and the content. Okay, so further I'm not going to add, so add another property. So if you don't want to add any further property, you can just hit enter. Okay, so further I'm not going to add, So add another property. So if you don't want to add any further property, you can just hit enter and you'll see the success. When you're ready, create a migration with PHP migration with PHP business make migration. Okay, now we need to create a migration. PHP bin/console make migration. So our migration is created. So if you are confused, so what is migration? So let me show you. So basically this is your migration. Okay, so this is not so very fancy stuff. So this is just a SQL command. Okay, so before creating the table, so the migration is created. Okay, so if you want to change anything and or remove anything, you can do over here. The table, so the migration is created. Okay, so if you want to change anything and or remove anything, you can do over here. Okay, so our migration is created, and now we need to create the table here in the PHP MyAdmin. So we don't have to do anything. We just need to copy this php bin/console migration migrate, and just hit enter. And if you go here and reload this page, CRUD our database and table is created. So as you can see, ID, title, and content. Okay, so we are done with our entity creation. Now we have to create PHP bin/ where you're seeing the missing packages to use the make form command, run composer record form validator. Okay, so copy this and hit enter. So these things are quite common, especially when you're working with the frameworks, because you don't know everything, what need to install and what you don't need. But when you proceed forward through all these kind of warnings and error, you'll realize what to install. Okay, so our form components is installed. Okay, the bundle is installed, and now we proceed with the form creation. PHP bin/console make name. Okay, what should be the name of the form? So the form. So let's keep a CRUD time. Okay, so it's not necessary to write time, but even if you don't write time, it will automatically add the suffix after your form name. The name of entity or fully qualified model class name that the new form will be bound to empty for none. Okay, so if we hit the enter, it will create the empty form. But if you want everything, for example, from the entity to be loaded, so for that we need to give the name of the entity. So which is CRUD, not card, it's CRUD. Doesn't exist. Okay, so I forgot to mention one thing. Our entity CRUD. So mention one thing. Our entity CRUD. So our class name is basically the first letter is mention one thing. Our entity CRUD. So our class name is basically the first letter is in capital or in the uppercase. CRUD, and our form is created. Okay, so if you go to our project, after the entity, form, and the CRUD type, our form is created. Let me close this and start the server. Symfony server start. I misspelled Symfony. Misspelled Symfony. Symfony. Warning. Symfony C install. We don't need these things now. Bootstrap. We don't need much. We are just going to copy this CSS only, and inside our base.html tweak, here I'm going to paste the Bootstrap CD in. So we have pasted our Bootstrap here, and now we are going to let us first render our form. Render our form. So this will be our home page and home page. So in our project, what we are going to do is that we are going to in our home page we are going to paste our we are going to display the list. Okay, so list of all the data. So let's create the route. Create, and the name. It should be comma. Name equals to CR public function CREATE. Create public function. And while displaying the form, here we need to pass a parameter, so that is the request. So since we are dealing with the form, so we need to work with the request. I'm going to copy this, paste here, and request request. New, and the name of the class, so which is the CRUD, CRUD, and again I forgot one thing. CRUD, and again I forgot one thing. I forgot to import the entity, which is inside entity ENTI, and we need to import the form as well. Form, which is CRUD type. Okay, so this is our class and this is our object, and for form equals to this create form create form, and this form requires a two parameter. So first one will be the form, so which is CRUD type double colon and class comma and the entity. So which is because we what we are doing here is that we are and now we need to handle the request, because what we are doing here is that we are getting a data from the form from the tweak. It need to handle request handle request request, and inside goes the request. Okay, so let's render form. Return this render, and inside the main folder we are going to create our tweak. We are going to create our tweak. We are going to create a file where we gonna create html.tweak, and inside the array we need to pass the form and create view. Okay, so we haven't created this file, so we need to create this file inside the main folder and create.html.tweak. So our file is created, and now here we are going to render our form. So what we're gonna do is that we need to first extend our base template. So with base.html.tweak, again the block body. So up here this will going to extend the template name. So in our case our template name is base.html.tweak, and here whatever we do, okay, so if you create the form, so it should be rendered, it should be displayed within the base template. Okay, so in our case, so it is a block body. So if you go to our base.html.tweak, and here you can see that block body. Okay, so here the form is rendered. Okay, now we are going to create the form division. Let's put this inside the container. Form division, let's put this inside the container. This one is a container. This one is a Bootstrap class equals to row, and division class equals to col md6. Let's put it in middle of the screen. Offset md3, so 336, so it will give the offset from the both side. Okay, so it will give a margin from the both side, and our form will be displayed in middle. So the below the row, let's keep the heading, create form margin, let's give 5. Okay, so now we are going to create the form start, and inside goes the form. I'm going to copy this and paste down below. So instead of start and closing form, and here we need to we have to display our form. So okay, so if I do just form, if I do just a form, it will display, it will certainly display. So what was our route? So it was CREAT, if I didn't do any mistake. Yeah, so here you can see our form is created. So this will render everything whatever is in our form type. Okay, so the entities, everything is displayed. So if it is of single type, say just the text type, so it won't be any issue. But since we are in future we are going to work with images and so many stuff, so it is better to render each and every line. So what this will do is that yeah, it will help us especially with the styling and stuff. Okay, yeah, so this is it, and let's do according to it. And guys, as you can see here in the parentheses we have form. So basically this here in the parentheses we have form. So basically this came from here. Okay, So you can write whatever here and type whatever here. So if you have written XYZ and here should be XYZ, it shouldn't be yeah, so whatever you write, it should be exact the same. So our form is created, but let us render each and every input um, line by line. Again, we are going to use the Bootstrap class. Class equals to, I think it's form group. I don't know exactly. Let's do, if it works, then it's okay. If it doesn't, then we do, if it works, then it's okay. If it doesn't, then we are going to change form widget, form dot, and the form dot and the name of the field. So our first field was title, and let's do a little bit of styling. Okay, so let me do, okay, yeah, let's do a little bit of styling. Attr attribute, and again open close curly braces, class form control. Okay, so this one is basically Bootstrap class. Reload the page. I misspelled the title. TITL. Yeah, so you can see over here. This is what I was saying before. Yeah, if I couldn't tell properly, then I'm sorry. So here you can see the title is render. Okay, so now let's keep the label. So guys, either you can do label, which is probably the HTML. Uh, for our learning purpose, let's render what the tweak has to provide. So which is again form label, and inside goes the which label you want to render. So obviously it's title. If I reload the page, and here you can see the label. Okay, so you just like the HTML way, then you can do, if you want to do this way, you can do. But sometimes especially when you are working with a bigger project, um, the field name, sometimes it is a bit long, and you cannot write everything, the name of the field. So at that time you can you can use HTML, HTML way of writing it. Okay, yeah, so whatever you feel like easy, you can do. Just remember, especially while you are giving the name of the field. Okay, so I'm going to copy this and I'm going to paste here. So form label instead of title, so other property was content. Here again, content, content, and our content field is also created. So what I'm going to do now is that we need to create a button. I'm going to remove this part, and I'm giving this form group just for the margin, BUTT button. So let's give the name submit, class equals to btn info, btn block. So it will I'm very bad in spelling, BLOCK, btn block. btn info, and this is not the thing required here. So what I'm going to do is just give the margin the top, and the text color, here it's black. We're going to keep white and reload the page and submit. Okay, so if you want to make it full size, then you can go to documentation, you can check. Okay, so this thing was not our concern. Okay, we are done with our form rendering, and now we need to handle the form. So for that, if form is submitted, if the form is submitted, if the form is submitted, and form is valid. So if there is no any issue with the form, we need to do a form operation, so which is basically putting inside the database. Okay, persisting inside the database. We need to persist em equals to this get doctrine get manager. So this is the so this will call the ORM. So we need to install the this form inside the database. So we need to call the doctrine manager, entity manager, em persist, and what we need to persist, this. And then we need to flush. Okay, so this will insert the data into database. Now what we need to do is that after the after inserting data into database, we need to display a beautiful message like your data has been inserted successfully. Okay, so again we need to return this. I think we don't need to return. I think, yeah, we don't need to return. We need to just do add flash, add flash, and inside here we need to type the message. But first we do again, this will take a 2 parameter. The second takes the message like insert submitted. I'm very bad at spelling. Submitted, submitted successfully. Okay, so this will render the so this will render the message submitted successfully, and here we are going to pass the variable. So let's keep notice or notification, whatever you like, notice. Okay, so the reason why we need to give this is that in the bigger project, so there will be so many flash messages that we need to render after doing the operation. So route which to display, okay, which to render. So if we give this notice to each and everywhere, then there might be chances where the wrong message will be rendered. Okay, so I've seen this quite a lot. I'm telling this from my experience. Okay, so after all this thing is done, we need to display this message successfully inserted. So after the create form, here we need to display for message in app dot flashes from where? From notice. So this will check the notice, the variable notice. So if there is any message, message n4, let's give the Bootstrap class alert is a success. So it will display in a white in a green background. And here we need to display our message. Okay, so I'm going to reload this page and title hello content hello world and submit. Attempt to call the undefined matter is again I misspelled the valid. So this one is valid. So if I reload the page, valid. So if I reload the page, I hope there won't be any mistakes on. Yeah, submitted successfully. And if we go to our table, and here you can see the data has been submitted, inserted successfully. Okay, so guys, in the later video, what we're gonna do is that we are going to redirect this to the list. Okay, so currently we haven't created our home page. So here we're going to create the list, and so after the insertion is done from our create, up here in the above the list, we are going to display the message, okay, for delete, update, so whatever. And also we are going to work with the redirect, but currently we don't have anything. Okay, so okay, so let's write the code for the redirecting. So return, so after doing everything, return this redirect to route, in which route we need to redirect. Okay, so after the insertion is done, where we want our page to go. So as I told you guys before, this will be used as a home page. I'm going to get this name equals to main and put here in the redirect. Okay, so after it is done, it will redirect to this route. Okay, so let me show you. So this is it, and now we are going to display all the display everything here. Okay, so I'm going to get a list, not list, I think the table from the Bootstrap documentation, the MPLE table. I'm going to copy this, and inside the index.html tag here, I'm going to paste here. Okay, so first let me keep the container. We don't need this. Okay, so first let me keep the container. We don't need this title. And if I reload the page, so this is it. Container, again I misspelled the container. Yeah, so here we are going to display our data. Data equals to this. Get doctrine, get not manager, get repository, and inside the get repository we need to find all. So this will fetch everything. So inside the get repository we need to pass the class. So what it is saying over here is that it display everything whatever this CRUD has. Okay, so this is it. We don't have to do anything for now. This will fetch everything, so whatever here. Okay, I'm going to remove this part and data. Now let's go to our index.html twig here. We don't need this Jacob and Larry the bird. PR for let's say for data in data, for data in data. Okay, so whatever it is in data, so we need to close for end and 4 and 4. Okay, so this data is coming from here. Okay, so you may get confused, so I'll write so instead of data, let's say list. Okay, so we need to put this here. The ID data.id. So this will render the ID. So instead of mark data dot and the name of the field, so in our case it's title. So instead of this we need to write data dot the another field, so which is content, CONTENT content. Let's give the th, so which is basically the heading name, title, and the second one CONTENT content, and we're gonna use this for the action. So what we want to do, edit, delete, whatever. Okay, so if I reload the page, and here you can see our data is loaded successfully. So if I reload the page, and here you can see our data is loaded successfully. So we are going to now create the the action. For action we need to create the edit and delete button. Okay, so I'm going to remove this I don't know what that was, and create the button. So we're going to now create a button with the help of anchor tag, because we need to redirect for edit, for update and delete. So let's keep this first one as update. Class equals to btn warning, warning, warning. Yep, and the href where we want to redirect. Okay, so for that we are going to use path function, and currently we haven't made this route, so we are going to make this route after a while. Path, and to update we need to pass the ID, because ID is only the unique thing that we have here in our database. Okay, so this one, ID. Okay, so according to the MySQL, this this ID is generated automatically, and it is incremented after each and every insertion. ID, and from where we'll get the ID from data.id. Okay, so this will this will provide the ID. I'm going to make delete, and here delete, danger. Let's give it a red color for the delete. So our update and delete button is created successfully, but if we try to render, it will give us the error because I think I made a mistake over here. A hash key must be quoted string, must be quoted. Hash key must be quoted a number, name, and expression, includes parent punctuation. ID equals to okay. So let's first create our route for update and delete. Route update, and this will take the ID because we need to pass the ID, and name equals to update public function up update, and this will be similar to the create. Okay, so I'm going to copy this. So I request you to do all these things manually. Request, and this will take ID as well. Okay, we need to pass ID as well here in the parenthesis. And we need to add one extra line. So it is, so instead of this, we need to remove this part because we need to first fetch data from the database, and we need to populate in the form. So for that, this get doctrine, get repository report. So we need to first get data from the database, find, and inside goes the name of the ID. So what this will do is that it will get the data from the particular ID, and this will populate in the form. Okay, and now everything is similar to the create. Okay, so instead of submitted, let's skip update, and here the file where we are going to render update. So instead of create, update html.twig. So let's create our update file, and I'm going to copy this everything and paste here. So instead of create, up, and I'm going to copy this everything and paste here. So instead of create, update form, and this will populate everything over here. So instead of submit, again update. A hash key must be quoted, number of name, next at position 7. Expected pin plain value app controller update, so which is being imported from. Make sure that your PHP 8 plus annotation are installed and enabled. This is giving me some sort of error. I don't know what that is. Up a request. I made a typo over here. reload the page. Expected plain value got position 7. Find form, this create form, get doctrine, get repository. So everything's fine. There is I made a mistake over here, so it should be comma, not the full stop. Reload the page, and again I'm getting the same error. Route slash update, update request, RQUSA request, public function CRUD handle request. So this is showing some error. So first let me remove this line. Again showing this. What is wrong with update form update flashes start form level main controller public function update request request ID CRUD 4567. Did I do any mistake? Expected plain value got position 7 method control main color update. Name because update route public function update request ID repository CRUD find ID. So this is coming from here, and this get doctrine get repository. Expected plain value got position 7. What is wrong? Which is being imported from annotation.s. Make sure that the USP8 or annotation are installed. Update ID. This is on get repository. Create this create form CRUD type. Form handle HANDLREQUEST. Form is submitted and form is valid. Get doctrine get manager. So the problem I faced over here was because of the punctuation mark. Yeah. So let me go over here and paste this back again and reload the URL. A hash key. So let me go over here and paste this back again and reload the URL. A hash key must be a number or expression closed. I think I did some mistake over here. Okay, so let me remove this again. Remove this again and do it once. Path inside inside goes the name of the path, so which is update, and inside goes the ID. It should be enclosed within the inverted comma data dot ID. Again, a hash key must be quoted string, number name expression closing parenthesis ID comma ID. A hash key must be quoted string but a number or name or expression enclosed. A hash key must be quoted string, a number, a name or an expression enclosed in parentheses. Unexpected token punctuation of value. Did I do any mistake? A hash key must be quoted string, a number, a name, or an expression enclosed in parentheses. Unexpected token function of value. And the reason I got this error is because I have added two extra parentheses over here, which I shouldn't be doing. And if I reload the page, and an expansion throwing template and multi-generate URL, because our delete URL has not been created. This is working well. And if you go to controller, and after the update, let's create a route for delete. Route delete, and again this will take the ID, comma, don't forget this comma and the required punctuation mark, delete, public function delete. And for delete we don't have to do anything much bigger. Just pass the ID, doctr doctrine get repository, and from which class does this belong. So here it is CRUD, and again we need to find the ID, which ID we need to delete. Okay, so this is it. Or again, similar like the update, this will fetch the with data to be removed. And so here we just need to okay, so I'm just going to copy this part, and paste here. So instead of I'm just going to copy this part, and paste here. So instead of persist, REMO. So this will remove which ID that was faced, and so in Flask, deleted is deleted successfully. Again, okay. Yeah, so I think this is it. And as I told you guys before, what I'm going to do is I'm going to redirect after creating, updating, after creating, updating, and deleting to the home page. So our home page is basically main. So as you can see, over redirected towards the home page. And if you remember, in our create.html.twig, we have used this part, this for message and app classes to display the message like created successfully. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going classes to display the message like created successfully. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this line of codes from here and here. I'm going to paste here in the our home page, which is in the list. Okay, so I'm just going to give the margin at the top and the margin at the bottom. If I reload the page, and here you can see before you can see before I had given the color for delete another. I think I did Control plus Z. Danger. Okay, so if I this one deleted successfully, and update hello world, just a random content, and here you can see updated successfully, hello world and universe. So this is it, guys, and if you want to add more things into this video, then make sure to comment down. I'm going to add. So if you guys want me to update again this video, if I get a chance to update in future, I don't want to give you the exact when, because I'll be very busy. So even if I get a chance, so take this video as a part 1, and we will do part 2. And again, if you want me to add over there more, then yeah, we can go through likewise. Okay, so this is it, guys, and